right. I see it.
All right. Look at that. Well, I guess we're live. What's up, everybody? I'm Dustin Coiner, Talkin Motorbikes here at TrackDaz as well. And I'm on tonight with Wreck-It Rainey. What's up, Rainey?
Just slaving away as usual, recovering from a weekend at the track.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Naturally. How'd you get the name Wreck-It?
Yeah, I mean, I've always had kind of just bad luck, right? And it wasn't necessarily from crashing a lot. It was just always the circumstance. And I think the second time that I crashed a bike the day I bought it, which that one was not really my fault, is when a friend was like, dude, you have to change your Instagram name, and just kind of, I don't know, from there. People say the Instagram name is what jinxed it, but it's why I picked it.
You know, Stephen Ludwig for years, I think it even says it on the butt of his leather still, but they called him low side Ludwig because this fucker would low side everywhere. Like, he didn't even have to be out on track. He could low side in the pits. You know what I mean? So I was curious about the Wreck-It thing. I figured you were just hard on equipment or something, but and it's always, you said it was somebody else's fault.
It's always weird stuff.
It's always somebody else's fault.
I was a canyon rat out. Yeah, I was a canyon rat out here in California. Is how I kind of started. And like there were, I think, 2 or 3 times where I crashed on the way to the canyon ride.
Okay.
Basically never crashed in the canyons. The one time I did, someone else was involved, and we'll call it a 50-50 incident. But I don't know, just like shit like that. You know what I mean? Who crashes on the way to a ride? Me.
Well, that's like crashing on the warm-up lap, right?
Exactly. I have yet to do that.
Yeah, me neither. I only at a track day, right? I mean, like, who's crashed on the first lap of a track day?
No.
You haven't? Lucky.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I mean, this was a million years ago, but yeah, like I do the writers meeting. It's like, yeah, it's cold, everybody, you know, take your time, warm up your tires. And I just had Gil, you know, my staff guy, Gil, paint up my 750 at the time. Writers meeting ends. I go out, turn 2 at Buttonwillow on my face. Like,
it's the fresh paint job.
Womp womp.
I never like to do new stuff.
Yeah.
I did do when I got.
Yeah, let's see. Oh man. Yeah, I've got comments rolling in already. I'll get to them in a minute. Fuckers. Your husband's on as well, by the way.
Oh, I was supposed to tell him when we went live. Totally forgot.
Oh, I don't think you had to tell him. He knew. Yeah. So. Yeah. Yeah, you know, let's just out it now. Like, you're married to Ty Bengford.
Yikes. Clearly,
you're good at making bad choices, right? Like, I mean, like, how'd you just take that guy on? Like, what's up with that? Like, what's up with you hanging out with that loser?
Well, actually, so I used to be friends with his roommate, and me and his roommate were out playing pool at some dive bar in Encinitas, and we just posted like an Instagram story, and Ty replied. I had no idea who the dude was, and he was like, oh, that's my roommate. And I didn't answer. I was like, okay, random dude. And then like 6 hours later was like, sorry if that was weird. And now we're married.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys got engaged at that race event at Laguna that I helped put on last year, right?
Yeah, some race event.
What?
Some race event.
Yeah, you know, CRA. You know, I'm proud of that. You know, we brought club racing back to Laguna for the first time in like 40 years. And you guys chose to use that weekend as the weekend to do that. So
that was an incredible experience. I never thought I'd get to, as like a club racer, I never really thought I'd get to race Laguna, you know?
Me neither. You know, me neither.
It was always the like, damn it, I have to put a stock exhaust on and go like be all quiet and on the track day. So
right.
It was a cool weekend. Besides the fact I crashed and blew up an engine.
Wow. You know what? Like, so, you know, being a married couple and both of you guys race, like, how does that go? Like, how does that even work? because racing is expensive. Do you guys have to make choices of like who gets to race that weekend or who gets the new tire that weekend? Like, how does it work?
Well,
Who has to make the sandwich?
for a while, we never had tire problems because he was with Pirelli, I think until recently. Since he's doing Moto America, he kind of like has to make that switch or whatever. And I've pretty much always been Team Dunlop, so we've never had the tire thing. But I don't know. We have separate bank accounts, and I volunteer for CVMA to get race credits and stuff. Since I do not understand how people afford this sport.
What do you do for CVMA?
Tech inspection.
You do tech inspection.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Now that I know that you do tech inspection, what's the weirdest thing that you've seen not pass tech?
Oh my gosh, we have one. I came across pictures of it the other day. So we do the we started the COVID like tech procedure where people just go put their bikes on the stands.
The Park Ferme tech kind of.
And it's actually awesome because I hate when people come up to tech and they want to like talk to you and stuff, like I want to like get this over with and get to the barbecue, right? But one bike came through where it was on the rear stand, but the spool snapped off when we took the rear stand off. It like came with the rear stand. So we were like, what the? And it's scary when it's like next to a bunch of bikes, like I'm sure it was next to the 40,000 Ducati. And we ended up like just leaning it on the pole. And we were like, what the heck, waiting for the person to come through and be like, hey, like technically like spools isn't a fail. Like that's not a requirement, I guess.
Right.
But I don't know. That was easily the craziest thing. I've never seen a spool come off with the rear stand.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I don't know what kind of bike it was, but there was a run for a while. I mean, and I say this knowing that I'm supported by Yamaha, but like, dude, we use fairing screws for the spools, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, use your imagination.
I've had to do that before in, as usual, crash situations,
Yeah.
Spool, you just take it out and throw a bolt in there.
So you haven't seen like a belly pan full of oil or?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And that wasn't the weirdest thing?
The last round, well, they don't come through with belly pans, but just the last round, I went to go like see if the guy had safety wired his drain bolt, right? And I like swipe my hand, and it's just like all green Motul.
Oh, he forgot to put the diaper on there. Was it an Arma bike?
It's a secret what bike it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it wasn't your bike then.
It was not my bike.
Okay.
It wasn't R1.
Really? Canyon oil filter?
No. Even though we did start allowing those, which seems crazy pants to me. Because I remember when those were blowing up. We had one at SoCal and cleanup on the track. Oh my gosh, I was so mad. That's what that's from, right?
That's Canyon oil filter right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah, you guys are allowing those things. Yeesh.
Mostly because Moto America.
It's not going to make me want to run them. Yeah, well, they wrote a check. Easy.
But then we get those people that come to CVMA and complain, oh, it's Moto America legal. So we kind of just adjusted our rules so that, like, I don't know. I get it.
Yeah, I was walking around and I walked up on Cowboy over the weekend, and there was a guy that was kind of in his ass a little bit about his 750 not being able to run in 600 Super Sport. And I just kept walking.
We knew that would be a thing this year.
I was like, man, I don't miss those days at all, man.
Yeah, I have no patience for that. That's been bad.
So you said you started out as a canyon rat.
Mm-hmm.
Walk me through that. Was that when you started riding? Like when did you start riding?
Initially I started actually just to commute because I had 2 jobs and was going to school just everywhere. So because I moved here from Wyoming where like freeways, motorcycles, like that was like crazy. 55 miles an hour was as fast as my Jeep had ever gone. And
you had a Jeep.
Yeah.
Of course you had a Jeep.
But I remember I was sitting in traffic, and one day in my Jeep with no air conditioning. I was looking at the motorcycles riding by, and I was like, you know what? That doesn't look so bad. And so I went to a dealership and got a horrible deal on a CBR 500 because I didn't know better at the time. I know.
A dealership.
Oh yeah.
Harsh words, man.
Yeah. I mean,
Wow. Okay.
totally tripped me off.
If that's how you feel, man, shit. Okay.
But yeah, I remember it was like between that and some like I think a Sportster. Like I didn't know if I wanted a cruiser or something. Like I was
sport bike or a Sportster.
Hey, CBR 500. Like, is it? It's a sport bike. Well,
I mean, it's a budget sport bike.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, that's how. Like, I just wanted a motorcycle. You know what I mean? I wasn't like, oh, I want to go do turns and racing. And it took convincing to even get me to the canyons. I hated my first track day, so it's weird that I'm here now.
So, how long was it before you decided to ride on the track for the first time? Because when was the CBR 500? Was that 10 years ago?
Oh no. I started riding in 2016, I think, either 2015 or 2016.
Okay.
But it was, I believe, a 2013 CBR. I got it a few years used.
Okay. So you're riding around commuting, and then you're like, you know what sounds like a good idea?
Well, I remember me and my roommate at the time, we kind of went through the whole thing together, like the for like the rider course, because I had no idea how to ride a motorcycle. And we were like Googling, like, oh, let's go get like pie or just go cruise and stuff. And so we came across I feel like it was the 94. And just went down a bit, and that's where everyone goes. So eventually met people and
Right.
upgraded to a Jigsaw and just quickly
upgraded.
spiraled. Yes, upgraded. I love that bike.
Did you?
Yeah.
I don't think I remember you with the Suzuki. I remember you had that R6. Like,
it has street fairings and headlights, but it's what I had at my pit over the weekend.
I guess
miles still going.
I guess I didn't notice your pit over the weekend. I don't know. I saw you with Richard. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you still have that same Suzuki.
Dude, almost 40,000 miles.
Nice. 40,000 miles on the Suzuki.
Yeah. I did a valve adjustment at like 33,000.
You got the same engine in the...
Yeah.
Okay. So, and how many engines have you gone through on your other bike?
I think it's 5.
5.
I had 2 R6s, and it's like 6 total.
Okay.
But I think this one is 4 or 5.
Yeah, you got a newer one, right? Is that what happened?
No, it's the when the like throttle got stuck open electronically, the crash broke everything needed to do that conversion. So I was like, might as well just put like the fancy stuff on it, you know, which ended up being such a big project. Everyone was like, yeah, bolts on. Did not.
Really?
Bolts on.
Okay. You seem like the type to just take work on with working on your own bike.
Well, I mean,
what's the deal with that?
And there's not really anyone like close to me. Like I don't enjoy the drive on the paper field.
Okay.
So I don't know. I like it.
That's cool. I mean, you know, Curtis Adams told me years ago that he didn't want to pay somebody to work on his shit that he could just do himself. As he was like revalving his forks into pits. Yeah, dude. Curtis Adams would be revalving his forks and his shock. He'd have a little shim kit, you know, like his tackle box or whatever. I was like, man, how do you do that?
I haven't touched suspension yet.
Yet, you said. Wow. Wow. That's impressive, man.
We'll see. I might turn this engine on and it immediately blows up. So
yeah. So what engine is that you're referring to?
Well, what happened this last one? Oh yeah, something with the fueling went wrong, so blew up.
Something with the fueling, like the fuel pump?
No, because the fuel pump was new. So we're thinking either bad gas. I got the injectors back from Sage, and he didn't say that they were bad, so I'm guessing they were fine. And I don't know, it was super weird. The fuel pump had metal shavings in it. So if you know anyone that has seen that before, let me know, because I've talked to a few people that have never seen that. But since the fuel pump was new, there wasn't enough like clogged in the filter to really cut. Because I've had a fuel pump blow up a bike too, so I've seen
metal shavings in the fuel pump.
Yeah.
Everybody that's watching this crap, can you comment live if you've seen metal shavings in your fuel pump? I don't know. I'm no mechanic or anything, but is that bad?
So what's funny, I didn't bring it up because Fuzzy's kind of been my advisor while I'm like taking it apart, and he's been patient with me, which is nice. And I didn't bring that up initially because I was like, oh well, the engine is blowing up, so there was like metal shavings everywhere. It's like what my thought process was.
Yeah.
And eventually I pointed that out. He's like, what? Like, I've never seen that.
Yeah, I've never heard of that either.
Still a mystery, just like a weird thing.
That's like weird Wreck-It Rainey shit. I mean,
par for the course.
That's kind of shit that could only happen to you.
Yeah. That's my life.
So I got some commenters coming in. I want to talk about you building your engine. You kind of brought it up, but like I hadn't quite gotten there yet. But let me go into some of the comments because these guys are like shotgun blasting me, man. Let's see here. Yeah, your husband says, "Wow, she's hot." Wow, dude. Okay. And then Irate Barry says, "Stop scaring her." And Barry and Matt Cavarles talk about crashing at their first, crashing in practice or crashing in the first session of a track day.
I was gonna say Matt has definitely done that.
Oh, dude, Matt has crashed a ton, dude. Like Cavarles is basically like a professional crasher. So much so that in the writers' meeting, we used to have him like do the crash part of the writers' meeting because he was like so good at it, Right, Matt? Yeah, okay. So yeah, Mario Mudex talking about the corner worker meeting. Let's see. Oh, yeah, and Irate Barry says that Ty has an OnlyFans account.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, tech stories will take you all night. Mike Bishop says that.
I'm sure he was the one that had to deal with the broken spool.
Yeah. Yeah, Short Guy Moto asks if something was dropped in your gas tank for that.
Yeah, so I was like kind of joking around with some friends like, hey, did you dump something in the gas tank? But like, I don't know, like I wish we could pull up a photo. It really just wasn't enough to like clog the filter and cause enough problems to blow up the engine. I feel like, at least, because I've seen how clogged it needs to be to like cause that amount of damage. It wasn't that much, but it was just still super weird. So
that sounds weird. Like, did you piss somebody off and they, Cavarles is saying crazy X?
Maybe.
Really? Okay. It's like that, huh?
No.
If you say so.
I've never pissed anyone off ever.
So you went, you have your, so which bike was at your first track day? Which, did you take that CBR thing or?
No, it was the Gixxer.
You took the Gixxer. Okay. So how many track days did you do before you like scumbagged your way into becoming a BigHeadz freeloader?
Oh man. Well, I knew Cybeth. And so it was like
Erica.
It was like only one or two.
I refuse to call her that weird name. I'm like, dude, I've known you for years. You're Erica to me. Like,
no, but she wanted to be called that. I'm respecting.
That's weird.
Cybeth, Erica.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember because when I first started, it was when SoCal was actually fast, and so I was the slowest person out there. I was like, "Are you sure you want me like working at this track day?" Because I was by far Slowpoke McGee out there,
Slowpoke McGee.
Yeah, not a lot of track days before I was invited there. I was special, and I immediately called Dale slow because I didn't know who he was. I told him the Dunlops made him slow, so I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. First time I ever met him.
Who said that?
I said that to Dale.
Oh. Okay.
Oops.
Wow. Yeah, because Dale, I've known Dale for a long time. Dale's been the tire guy for every brand, just about. I think except Bridgestone.
Well, it was right when he switched from Pirelli to Dunlop, you know?
Yeah. 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 I mean, Dale, when I met Dale, he was the Michelin guy. Like he took it over. Chuck Graves had the Michelin distributorship. And then he got the factory Yamaha contract to do the super sport thing. So, part of that, I think he had to be on Dunlops at the time. So he ditched his Michelin thing. And I think Freddie Spencer got it and Dale was kind of running it. And then Dale just took it over completely. And dude, he had Michelin's even, a couple 2-3 years into the beginning of CVMA. He was the Michelin guy.
Yeah.
So
now, I mean,
then he was the Pirelli guy, but I think he was a sub vendor from he wasn't like with Michelin. He was like the man, right? Like he was like a distributor, but when he was with Pirelli, he was a sub vendor under CT Racing, and now I think he's distributor again. Like I think he's got like the whole West Coast practically, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because he goes to like Colorado and Utah and stuff. So
yeah, I've seen him at Thunder Hill at AFM weekends. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah,
that's a track.
So that dude works really hard, man.
Dude, he's cool.
I don't know how he does it because he's got to be 11D, and he is like everywhere, every weekend, somewhere, like, and he's working hard like that and traveling like that and somehow stayed married. So,
man. Well, and then he'll still hop on the bike and ride. He'll like sling tires all day and then go like, I don't know if you heard of when they first resurfaced or repaved Chuck or whatever, that first race weekend, like everyone was complaining like, oh,
the first time or the second time?
I'm pretty sure this was the first time.
The first time.
And so Dale hopped on his bike and went in qualifying and did a 51, went faster than everyone, and then didn't show up to the race. Like kind of just to be like, guys, the surface is like totally fine, Yeah. I want to grow up to be that badass,
Yeah. I mean, look, I've been, until last weekend, I hadn't been there in years. I do kind of remember the first surface and, I think we rode on it for a track day or something, like right after, like a week or two after it had been done. But, and it seemed okay. I mean, it looked weird. It kind of looks weird now. But, the grip wasn't there. And, like, I know that there was a bunch of stories about car dudes, like some guy rolled out in like this super pimp classic Porsche, and had his brand new paint job just fucking peppered with that aggregate that was coming up. Like,
the guy that
it was like, remember, it was like, it looked like it was gravel across the road, right? Yeah. So like, I guess it stripped the paint off of this dude's, classic Porsche, and he was really pissed.
Yeah.
So, the last repave, I don't know. Like I heard stuff that it, initially anyway, it was like riding on ice, that kind of thing. But it seemed to have way more grip than it looked like when I was. Yeah, I rode my bicycle around it, and I'm like, man, that looks weird. It's kind of shiny, Like it kind of fucked with you. It fucked with me mentally, honestly. I was like, what the hell is,
Yeah, and it's a bit patchy, but
yeah.
I don't know. People are going fast on it,
Yeah, they are. Jesus Christ. Have you walked on that surface?
Yeah.
Because I rode the bicycle on it, and then Saturday night, my wife was like, "Here, take the dog behind the bathrooms, to take a shit or whatever." And he kept walking me, and he was like, "Dude, I let him go. I let him lead me around, and we ended up walking through the infield all the way to the straightaway between 7 and 8. And I'm like standing on the surface and I'm looking at it with the flashlight on my phone, and you could see it looks like glitter. Like it's like the track is like, I don't know if it's like a bunch of glass in the blacktop or whatever, but I was like, shit. And I run my foot across it. I'm like, man, this is the most abrasive track surface I've ever stood on. No wonder it has like massive grip, but it just looks weird. It's all streaky and like light spots and dark spots. It's just weird looking. So
Yeah, it's weird to trust like in the cold, because feel kind of already goes down. Plus the like visual effect of that. I'm like, well, maybe I'll be low side Ludwig right now. Maybe I won't.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm getting comments, going back to Dale, Kavarla says that Dale signed the dotted line with the devil. Wow, bro. Really? Harsh. Yeah, Short Guy Moto says the track has tons of grip besides Crash Corner. And then Michael Bishop says it's the diamond cut they use to smooth out the bumps. I don't know about all that, dude. Like, if they were using some diamond cut to smooth out the bumps, then there must have been bumps across the entire surface. Because, like, literally the whole surface, if you shine a light on it at night, the whole surface looks like if you shined a light on my race bike. It looks like there's metal flake in there, or glass or something. I don't know, or it kind of looks like skateboard grip tape.
Oh,
right?
It doesn't. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
I don't know stuff about stuff.
I don't either, dude.
Me.
I'm just a motorbike dummy, that talks shit about motorbike stuff all the time. Like, yeah. Okay. So you, so how long did you say how many track days did you do before you joined BigHeadz?
It was probably like 2 or 3.
Really?
Yeah.
So you do 2 track days and you're riding for free. Interesting.
Free.
Well, I mean, tell me, okay, what's your job at BigHeadz?
Sit out in the corner and make sure people enter and exit properly and pick them up if they need it. But we kind of run like Supercross rules. Like if you can pick up your bike and keep going, great.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There, when places just go red and there's like kind of not really a reason, and then you just ruin people's like track time.
Right.
Kind of nuts.
Well, the thing is, some of the tracks, when somebody crashes, the thing will spin out and the bike will be on the track because they crash. Yeah. Typically, people crash in the slow parts, right? Yeah. And when they're not going fast enough, the bike will just it'll either spin around in place or it'll just low side and stay on track. And you don't really want to have bikes rolling through, no. and then playing that weird game of chicken, right? You want to be out there in the crash truck in the impact zone playing a game of chicken with, nah, dude, that's dumb. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, so do you have like a specific corner that you're working in, or?
No, they mix it up. We call the noob corner turn 11 because stuff doesn't happen as often there.
Turn 11.
Yeah, usually it's 9 people are, crashing.
Except for when Sophia and Matt are on track, apparently, right?
Well, I've crashed twice in that corner.
I've crashed once in turn 11 as well.
I feel like for the most part on track days, it's kind of.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think I think that the SoCal track day thing. I mean, there's like 45 bikes or something, or are there more?
It's more because with open session, you can sell more, and you just kind of hope that like no one's on track all at the same time ever.
Except for the first when the track opens and at lunch,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. It'll get super packed.
Those are the times you wait, right? It's like, okay, let everybody fan out and then go.
Like 15 minutes and then it's empty.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, the no session format thing's cool. I mean, I think it makes sense as long as everybody's a certain level,
Yep.
Like if you got C group people out there, beginners out there with, pro superbike racer or whatever,
Yep. Don't gotta tell me. I know we used to enforce that and haven't been as much lately.
Really? Yeah. How come?
I don't make the rules.
I don't know. I just work here. Right?
I just call people in when they apex the turn when they enter.
Hey, so I know that you said before the start of this thing that you were nervous to talk to me, and I told you it's just me, but I'm just letting you know that we're at like 4,900 live viewers right now.
Why would you Yeah. How many people watch you, Dustin? Come on.
Dude, I had no idea.
You're that famous?
I don't know. But okay, so who was there somebody at BigHeadz doing that corner working thing that kind of like scumbagged you into going club racing too, or did you think that that was like your logical next step?
So I initially, once I liked the track, 'cause like I said, at first I hated my first track day, but once I got into it, I've always been super competitive. I used to snowboard competitively, so I've always had that mindset. And I was like, oh, I want to like race, compete, and see how good I can do. But like right after I did NRS, I was in a car accident and I couldn't really ride as much. And I think it was like 2 years or something. Like I totally lost the license and I had to prove to Stu that I had it. And so I just sent him that photo that Robert takes at the end of the day with all the,
Yeah.
I was like, that's me on the far left. Does this work? And he was like, yeah, I guess so. So it took a while, but it was Ty and Anthony, because I lived with both of them at the time, that dragged me into my first race weekend where
Nice.
I just did Chuckwalla because I was really scared. And
Yeah. Right on. So, like, are there anybody that were in your new racer school that are still racing?
Dude, Jack Backen. I did NRS.
Oh
Jack.
yeah, that's awesome.
Like 19 and just smoked all of us. I'm trying to think. Not anyone else that I know. I know people that still like ride and do track days and stuff.
Yeah. Like, when you've been around as long as I have, like nobody I went to new racer school with still race. Like nobody. That's pretty common. You've noticed it, right? Like you've been racing for a couple years already. Usually like people are in and out in 3 years, right? They could do track day, amateur, expert, and then they take up underwater basket weaving or whatever, right?
It's just expensive. It's like, I don't know.
I think it takes a special level of dum-dum to keep doing this, Yeah.
Don't gotta tell me. I don't know why I'm still doing it.
Yeah. Like I had this discussion many times with like Hawk Mazzoda, and then like my old buddy, you met Jacob West at Laguna last year, I think. He's the race director guy.
I don't know.
He works with Curtis Adams. He worked with Curtis Adams when I was doing the CRA thing.
Okay.
He's a big fella. He was out on the grid at Laguna. But anyway, so Jacob West used to race, a million years ago at Willow too. And it's like, I've had that like, am I still a racer, kind of thing. And there's a lot of people that have gone through the same shit, and, but there's not a lot of people that continue racing after, the 3-year mark.
Yeah.
And, why do you think that is? And what do you think we as a sport could do to like help keep people in the circle?
I really feel like it's money. And I do think some people put themselves in that situation. Like I see people with B-bikes then I'm like, dude, you don't need a B-bike,
Yeah.
But I don't really know how one would solve that. So I don't know. Just the people that I talk directly with where I see them kind of like slowly fading.
Yeah.
A huge part is financial. And I know overall that like the world is just crazy right now too.
Yeah, I hear that.
It's gone up though too. Like our registration numbers are pretty huge at
CMA,
and like grids are massive.
Yeah. I mean, shit, there was like 180 something last weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stan Boley's texted me right now and he's like, stop what you're doing and answer my question. I'm like, bro, I'm live on YouTube. Shut up.
Yeah, priorities, Stan Boley.
Yeah, like I'm working on making pre-season testing pitch shirts for the team. So, really important stuff. So, so that's good times. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I think what you were saying is that a lot of riders are spending money maybe where they shouldn't be. Is that what you're saying? Like they should be. Yeah. You said they're buying B-bikes and shit. And it's like, dude, you haven't even figured out how to ride your A-bike yet. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to be like a dick, right? But I mean, if
No,
you're
you could be a dick. This is this fucking show.
like mid-pack expert, you probably don't need the B-bike. Or people that are doing like a set of tires every race that's like 58s. Like, you don't need to be doing that, right?
Yeah.
Flip the tire, do something else, or like running race gas. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, you kind of, depending on what kind of engine you've got too, right? Like if you build an engine, you should run fuel in it. Otherwise, the thing's gonna melt down, right?
Don't talk to me about bad fuel.
Okay.
It causes broken piston rings. That's all I know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like what you're saying, there was a guy, like this is years ago, so I can talk shit. I don't remember the dude's name anyway, but this guy had two Cowie 636s. They looked identical. And the dude rolls up, and like I used to do WSMC's tech. Dude rolls up in tech with the second bike. And I'm like, what's this bike, dude? He's like, oh, this is my super bike. And I'm like, super bike? Because it looked exactly like his other bike. He's like, yeah, this one's got rear sets on it. So the dude had two Cowie 636s, like a stock one, like for super sport, and it legit was stock. Like it had stock foot pegs and shit on it, right? The other one had rear sets. So that was his super bike.
Oh man, I feel bad.
Right?
Laughing at people, but you hope people can laugh at themselves too, right? I was that person when I had that CBR 500 and I went to go get a bigger bike and I didn't want a 600 because I was like, it's only 100 more cc's. And looking back, I'm like, dude, what an idiot I was.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a guy who was the president of MRA, and I remember he showed up to Willow, and he's a novice guy racing like Jimmy Wilson. I'll just say it. It's Jimmy Wilson. And I was in his ass, dude. I was like, Jim, do you want to ride? Like he rolls in and he's got like basically a Yosh super bike. Like he had like JB power wheels, like works, everything. Like he had like $100,000 bike, basically, is what it looked like to me. And I was like, dude, do you want to make the grid? Like what the fuck are you doing? But I mean, look, if you got dough like that, then have at it. You know what I mean? But a lot of people are spending money in those areas, and then they're like one crash or one blown whatever away from quitting the sport.
Yeah, just better pack replacement parts and stuff. You know what I mean? You don't need a whole
like, dude. When you're starting out, spend your money on fucking tires and entries, right? Like. A lot of people talk shit about that guy, Dutch. Like, I don't know if you remember Dutch. Dutch was this kid that come out to Chuckwalla. I can't remember what year it was, but he came out on an R6, like a Graves R6. And at the end of every weekend, amateur kid, like he had a stack of tires like 10 feet high in his pit. Like the dude, he was like a sort of like a Dr. Green Thumb. Like he was one of those mad scientist guys in the weed business. And supposedly he developed some like ridiculous strand of weed. So he was doing really well for himself. And the guy would pay for his tire bill at the end of the weekend. It was like 10 grand or something. He'd pay it in cash, and like all the amateurs would protest him because he was so fast. But it's like, dude, it was like his third race weekend, but he was racing like 8 races a weekend.
Yeah.
And he got quick. I think he got down to like 48s while he was still amateur.
Oh, that's just mean.
Right. Let's see. Yeah. So, if you can do that, then by all means do that. But I think if you're a regular working stiff like us, like you kind of spend your money where it matters, right?
Yeah.
Like do a riding school instead of buying the Marchesinis, right? Have you done a riding school?
No. The only coaching that I've done is with the Dale days where it's kind of like a bunch of people and then he pulls you aside like one-on-one,
Yeah.
and I tried for like 4 years in a row to win the Pridmore thing, but it's expensive. So most of my money has gone to fixing bikes, unfortunately. I would have loved to be able
You
to
spend a lot of money fixing bikes.
when you
do you think you would have still spent that money fixing bikes if you spent that money on a school?
well, the bike would have blown up either way, you know what I mean?
Well, you know, like if you spend some of that money at Champ School, gives you a bike to ride, and you can blow their bike up, right?
That's true.
Yeah. Okay. So, since you started racing at Chuckwalla, where else have you raced?
I raced at Button Willow with AFM, and with AFM, and then I tried to do a race weekend with CRA, but the bike blew up. We raced Utah West with USBA, and then at MRA in Colorado. We've been there.
Did you do the 4 hour?
I tried. Did you hear what happened to me in Colorado?
No, dude.
So Friday, well, it started off bad. Friday, we kind of got stuck in traffic, and we were like 90 seconds late to the riders meeting. So they didn't let us ride for half the day. They said you can come back at the noon riders meeting and then ride, right? So
okay.
We're already off. I'd been to HPR before though, so I wasn't like super stressed out, but I wanted to get some riding time in. And last session of that day, I crashed, just being like totally my fault. I was trying too hard. Looking at the video, I'm so mad at myself, you know. We scrambled, try and get the bike back together. We thought we had it back together, then go to roll it to tech it. And like the next morning, and the front end is like all sorts of twisted, and we didn't really have time to like do the things. So Anthony had Stacy's ZX6 there, and I'd ridden that bike before. He was like, just go practice. And because really I wanted to do the 4 hour. I didn't care if it was on a different bike or whatever. And I go out and practice on the ZX6, and someone high-sided into me on that bike.
Oh no.
So I couldn't. The rest, like mentally, I was like, I owe Anthony all this money for the bike. I have to pay to fix my bike. And yeah,
So that was a lesson, right?
It was a lesson not to go out in the slower practice group, because it was like B group shenanigans type of stuff. And I was scared to go out. Like, I didn't know the bike. And now I'm like, fuck, I should have just gone in like the group I was signed up for, you know?
It wasn't like a not race a borrowed bike lesson?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I had to race a lot of borrowed bikes.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Second amateur season, because I did 2 amateur seasons.
You did 2 amateur seasons.
Yeah, because it was like half.
Okay.
Round, you know, and like my times weren't there. You know, I wasn't sandbagging or anything. But I raced. It was either 4 or 5 different bikes in one season. That like were 2 of them were mine.
Dude, I remember you were like constantly working on your R6. Like, I don't know. Like, I remember AJ was like, man, I don't know.
Bikes parked, relaxing in the garage.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now that I know that you've been at Utah, Colorado, Button Willow, and Chuckwalla, like, have you been to Thunder Hill yet, or have you?
No, it's on the list. Everyone asked me that. It's NorCal's like far from here. It's not just same state, but really far. So we just need to suck it up.
I mean, it's closer than Colorado.
Well, we also
it's closer than going to Miller at Utah, right?
It's a little.
It's probably about the same for you.
For Utah, yeah, and the stop in Vegas is perfect. Like, we'll go stay at like Rich's or something.
Okay.
But AFM, because if I want to go somewhere, I want to race. I don't want to go just to do a track day. And we did not have a good experience with AFM, so I don't really have a desire.
Wow, man.
Them.
That's wow. Okay, yeah, Thunder Hill's great, dude. Like, gotta say, like, if you get an opportunity to go race there or something, you know, definitely try it out, because it's rad. Like, it's
on our list. East, right? East is the one.
Yeah, the West is the little track. West is, I guess, if you could use the analogy, West is like their Streets of Willow kind of thing, except it's like good. right?
You don't like streets?
No, I do like streets, but Thunderhill West is better. Like it's like the pavement is better. It's, it's got a nice flow to it. Keeps you busy.
Yeah.
You rip into there and you get down to first gear. It's like bing, bing, bing. Like it's fun. It's fun. So
On my list.
yeah. So what's your do you have like a favorite configuration at Chuckwalla, or is it like, do you like counterclockwise or clockwise better? Which one?
I think I like counter more. Probably because I'm faster that way. But I feel like there's more braking, I guess. It flows better to me.
Yeah. Well, the exits are like open radius exits instead of decreasing radius, right?
Mm-hmm. I just like the 8, 9, 10 section. It's super weird.
You like the slow part. Got it.
Yeah, is that bad?
Like you're basically saying the opposite of every other racer I've ever had on this fucking show. Like every other racer's like, yeah, Road America, boom, super fast. And you're like, yeah, I like the slow part at Chuckwalla.
It's not that hard to figure out how to do this, but it's hard to figure out how to go fast around a racetrack with turns and stuff.
I don't know, man. Like if you got to figure out how to go fast at Road America, I'd imagine it's not a straightaway. It's just fast.
Yeah.
Overall, So you like the 1098 complex counterclockwise?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Overall, the flow is better, but both are fun. Don't get me. I still like the other way.
But you're faster counter than you are. Like how much faster?
Like a second and a half.
You're a second and a half faster.
Okay, keep in mind. Usually, when I ride
here. Let me. I might have. Let me get my excuse book out.
I know. I wish I could ride more. I feel like if I went back, I would be able to go faster clockwise. It's just like I don't get that opportunity.
All right. Okay, so man, I've got a bunch more comments here. Shit. Yeah, I guess. Let's see. Wait, you spent less than 40K? What? I don't know. I don't remember what he was saying. Oh yeah, CVMA is proof that you don't need a $40,000 superbike to go fast. Is there such a thing as a $40,000 superbike?
Isn't that what you ride, Dustin?
Dude, I ride at R1, and it's not a 40,000. Like it costs more than 40,000, honestly. But yeah, like I think those bikes, like a lot of those BMWs that are out there, like off the showroom, they're more than 40 grand, right? So, let's see. Ty said something. He said that Mario Mudek says that Patricia won it this year. That must be the coaching thing.
Oh yeah, probably.
The Finwalla coaching thing or whatever. I know that Joy, what's her name? Joy, I forget. I can't remember her last name, but Joy won the private rental day.
Oh, cool.
Like for her and like 15 friends.
Yeah.
That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, like how does that work exactly? Do they covers the ambulance and everything, and they just show up and they got the track for the day? 15 people.
I guess. I know they usually they probably just let Fogel ride with them or something, right?
Right. There you go. They pay Fogel to hang out with them. Okay. Yeah, Fogel, for those that are out of town, Josh Fogel is he's like a former trauma nurse that Chuckwalla Valley Raceway hired to be like their on-site medic or whatever. So he and his wife drive around in this ambulance thing, and like they're on-track medics. That's about all I got for them.
Yeah.
So
and he races too. Like he'll hop in some races and then hop back in the ambulance. There was one he sort of caused the red flag and needed medical response, so he just kept going around the track, and everyone was like, who is that? Red flag, get off the track. But it was Fogel, and because it was a one incident, right? He just rolled the bike up, leaned it on pit wall, ran it, started like attending. I was part of that crash. This guy had like a concussion and stuff. It was just so funny.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, I've known Fogo for a long time too. It's pretty funny. Okay, so and then Ty says that that he told you that you could race his R1. You shaking your head?
I know I said I ride other bikes. That is one bike that would cause tension if anything happened.
That would cause. Oh, if you wreck your husband's bike.
Yeah, that.
I mean, it's just a bike, right? Like they're replaceable.
Yes, it's different.
How so?
Because it's my.
It's not just stuff; it's his stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have to like live with him after I crash it.
Oh, I mean, you would never live it down, right? You stack up Ty's R1, like I'm guessing you're never living that one down. Yeah, anytime the argument comes up, he'll be like, "Yeah, that time that you wrecked my R1, boom," and they would like negate anything you say.
One day, if I have the funds to replace stuff, if it ever happened, that would maybe be different. Like when I raced my friends like Gixxers and R6s, I knew I had like every replacement part that they would ever need, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he says he would make fun of you forever for sure. And then he says, marriage, am I right?
Maybe I'm just scared I get on it and go do like 220s.
Dude, I've offered, okay, like I rode Richard's super bike. Like I rode like the legit super bike. And I went slower on it than I went on the stalker. Because I was so afraid that Richard, if I'd stacked the thing, Richard murder me. I was way more afraid of him. So I was like, man. So I get it. Totally get it. Yeah, happy wife, happy life, Cavarles says. But yeah, okay. So what's your best finish so far? Do you have like your best battle, like something that stands out? Scrapping with somebody.
That's a good question. I mean, I missed the end of my amateur season a lot because that's the last time that I was able to finish race weekends.
Wow.
I know.
That's rough, dude.
I think the best place that I've had as an expert, I got 10th in an open race. But it was kind of like lonely. There wasn't a lot of people around. The middleweight grid is so stacked right now that at mid-pack expert times, you're never really lonely or bored. There's always like fun and fun. But yeah, I don't know. So,
this sport, we both know, we've talked about it. Like this sport's pretty expensive to do. Like, what do you do for a living?
So I do kind of like marketing and other stuff for a small reusable water bottle company called Mizu. We're like Yeti. We make like stainless steel tumblers and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then part-time I work for Bison Leathers. I like custom measure and design gear and stuff for people.
Wow, you're a mobile fit crew for Bison.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. So you're the one that ran the tape on Ty.
Yes.
Okay.
I wouldn't make anyone suffer through that. I took one for the team.
Wow. That's harsh. Well, I mean, you gotta live with that. So like, good luck with that.
We always give each other shit.
So, I'm guessing basically the day job pays the bills and the extra thing pays for the fun, or like everything kind of.
The thing is like basically the mortgage payment, and then the rest
really
goes to everything else. Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. And then, you were talking about engines and that kind of thing, and like there's some engine builders that I mentioned before we went live that I wouldn't trust to change the oil in my bikes, but a lot of people are using them because they see the price tag up front is a lot less expensive than say going to like Attack to do it. And then one race weekend end, or not even a full race weekend end, the engine pops, and the guy that spent the money at Attack is still racing 3, 4, or 5 the whole season later.
Yeah.
Walk me through that. Like what? It sounds like you've experienced some of that yourself. So
Well, my specific bikes and build, like I have just had bad luck. It's nothing, or it's like just my fault. Like I let the bike overheat. I didn't realize it was overheating and it warped the head. Like that's no builder's fault. You know what I mean?
right.
Um, but I don't know. I get what you mean when it comes to might as well spend the money up front to buy something nice. I've definitely kind of cheaped out on some things and regret it later. I say that, but right now the engine that I'm building, I'm cheaping out on parts because I don't want to spend money on new shit and then like I fuck the build up. So we'll see how that pans out. But I don't know. You got to go with people that have like good customer service too. Like there are people that are just shitty to work with, and that's why a huge reason that I work with Bryce still.
Yeah.
Just awesome guy. We've both like lost our ass on this bike. I feel so bad. I like feel horrible bringing it back to him. But he stuck through it and helped out a lot. Plus, it's like Yamaha graveyard up there, so anything I ever need,
Yeah.
sitting in the shop.
Yeah, I've known Bryce since he was like 14, and I'm so proud of what he's been able to accomplish, as far as, getting the shop going. Like he's a fucking Yamaha dealer now, like
When
how
I first started seeing him, he was in the smaller shop and it was like just him and
yeah.
then like garage, and now it's like the dealership. Yeah, it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I've talked about it on the show before. I mean, it seems like every time I show up to a race weekend, I didn't see it this weekend, but most weekends at Buttonwillow or Thunder Hill or whatever, I mean, seems like almost every R1 or R6 out there is a fucking BPR bike. And I'm just like, what the it's like a virus. It's like COVID.
I mean,
right?
he knocks them out really quick.
Yeah, he does. And, like I got a friend that's racing an R7 back east, and he had a problem with the engine for whatever reason. And Bryce was like, look, man, like if you send it back to me, we'll tear it down and figure out what happened and then go from there. And, the guy seemed to be pretty appreciative of that. But at the same time, it's like, it seems like there was a lot of word on the street last weekend. And I was like kind of disappointed to hear that. But at the same time, it sounds like Bryce is on the up and up and he stand up, take care of it. But, shit happens.
Shit does happen. I had that conversation.
And it all happens to you.
Dude, it's like the weirdest shit. Like the fuel pump thing. It's the weirdest stuff. But
yeah.
So I had that conversation with Fuzzy though. I forget what the exact number was, but he said in 1 year he built like 80 engines or something, and 8 failed, and people kind of remember the 8 but don't remember the rest. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
when volume goes up and stuff starts blowing up, people are kind of just looking at the bad, I feel like, a lot.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
Yeah, I think the more engines he churns out, like the more you churn out, the more likelihood that something's going to go wrong.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what his protocol is over there. No idea. I just know. I know some of what happens over in Huntington Beach, and I know that when the thing comes apart, like all the old stuff basically gets thrown in the trash.
It's so sad.
Like no, I mean, like I brought a bike over there one time that had like it was one of my school bikes. I think it had like 600 miles on it. And Richard was like, "You gonna reuse those valves? Really?" It's like, yeah, dude, like what the fuck? So yeah, I mean it's Joseph and Richard over there really strict when it comes to that stuff, because there's
been the hardest
no shortcut
about doing this rebuild is kind of knowing what, like the valves is a great example. I actually brought some of them to Chuckwalla for Fuzzy to look at, because like he was like, measure them. I was like, okay, measured and it's fine, but like I don't know exactly when the valve is past the point of like definitely don't use this, or like it's worn but okay and stuff. That's been like the hardest part of this. And I got a case that I thought was fine and it wasn't, and I ended up actually giving that to Bryce because he always does like the overboards and stuff.
Yeah.
But just kind of like getting parts and trying to figure out like, is this usable? Is this too fucked up? Like, I don't want another engine blowing up in 4 days.
Yeah, I mean, when I did my R6 engine, like I made a parts list and sent it to Yamaha, and I just handed this giant box of shit to Yosef and was like, "Here." And he's like, "Really, bro? You gave me a new head?" I was like, "That's what they gave me. I don't know."
That's exactly what I did to Bryce yesterday. Like all my old parts that I'm like, I don't know if it's usable. I have 2 heads. He didn't want the heads. He said he always needs cases and cranks. I had a crank laying around. Like, I don't know how I ended up with all this stuff. I'm just trying to build one freaking engine. I have all this crap in my garage now.
You have to have like 6 R6 engines to make one good one.
Exactly.
It's like a salvage yard at your house.
Basically.
Do you have do you have engine parts in your living room or your kitchen?
No, I just moved them from the couch into the.
You had engine parts on your couch.
Yeah, it was the connecting rods and the fuel injectors were.
Wow, dude, you're hardcore.
But I moved them to the garage.
Shit, if I left engine parts on my couch, I think my wife would murder me.
They were clean. They were new.
They were clean. They were new. Nice. Yeah, I don't think my wife would care about that, but yeah, good on you for that. Jesus. Yeah, your husband says buy 6 get 1 free. Yeah, like does Bryce should make you like one of those sandwich card things where you punch the right? You punch it and then you get the 10th one for free like that. He should do that for you.
Oh, then he'd lose even more money than he already.
Oh man, it's tough. It's so tough. That's rough, man.
I know. And I've tried that. I've looked into buying a new bike, but like we were talking about before that, also people want crazy money for some of these R6s, so kind of stuck with this one in pieces.
Yeah, so apparently Ricky Bobby from Boxo Tools is texting me. Oh, okay. Yeah, he's trying to make it ding or whatever. But yeah, he said 7,400. Dude, I saw over 8,000 a little while ago, bro. So yeah, we're back down to like 4,700 right now, but we had over 8,000 here a little bit ago, live viewers. So it's fucking weird. I don't know.
That's how many people are watching?
Yeah, there was like 8,000 something earlier.
What
so
in the world?
Yeah, good times.
I thought you were talking about R6 prices.
Oh no. Okay, so I'm reading the comments, man. I'm reading the comments. Okay, let's see here. Jesus Christ. Something about getting banned from the game room. Okay, so yeah. So Ty is saying that he's proud of you for building your own engine. It's a huge undertaking for someone who's not really a shop worker, and you're doing great. And Ricky Bobby says, yeah, he's learning as well. You know, that's awesome. And he says, thankfully, he knows the dude who builds Stefano Mesa's club bikes. And it's great to have right now. And Ty is saying it's cool to watch you be excited about it. And honestly, she knows you know more than he does by a long shot. Like you're a legit crew chief. And Ricky Bobby says, yeah, like Melissa Paris. So Ricky Bobby compared you to Melissa as far as that goes.
We will see. Like it's not finished yet. You know, I'm fully prepared to turn it on, and it just like immediately sends around through the case.
You put it all together, and then you find like a spring on the floor.
Factory extras, right?
Yeah, like you know how many? Like if you put it back together and you only have like 1 or 2 extra parts, you know, like right?
Meant to be in there.
Yeah. Okay. And then let's see. I guess Ty was being asked where he's trolling you from, and something about get banned from the game room. And yeah, so there's a bunch of shit like that. So yeah, good on you guys. Yeah, now apparently Mallory needs to get you on a ZX6 so you could ride for a while or something. I don't know.
I have tried 3 ZX6s, and 2 times when I was riding them, I was hit. The time in Colorado, and then another time I borrowed these and got taken out. So I think the
So
they're just saying no to me.
yeah, you've got bad luck.
Dude, I
Dude,
don't
have
like
you
it.
like have you considered maybe buying like one of those rabbit foots or something, you know?
But
You
people
just like
tell
rub
me
that before you put your leathers on.
I could try the rabbit's foot. I had someone recently tell me to get an exorcism and that they can recommend some.
Yeah, dude, get an exorcism. You said somebody could recommend somebody give you one? Get
Yep.
the fuck out of here.
Yeah, in Vegas.
Of course. Naturally,
I kind
Vegas.
of like the rabbit's foot idea, though. I might start with that.
Yeah, so, you know, I mean, some dudes will put the little bell, you know? I don't know what the bell means, but
Something.
Oh, man. So how far into this engine build are you right now?
I don't know. I don't keep track.
I mean, did you start with empty cases and you're like, what are you doing?
Oh, you mean like physically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or are you still compiling parts?
Like, no, I finally got a case over the weekend. Someone gave me one, and I think that's the last thing. I just need to order like bearings and stuff from Bryce, and then I can start putting it together. But it took so long to find a freaking case. So hopefully all goes well on the assembly.
Okay.
The worst part was measuring all this stupid stuff. That's so boring. I've been wanting to get to like this is the fun part. You finally get to like put it all together.
And you have all the torque wrenches and all that shit that you need and feeler gauges and shit.
Yeah, I have because I've done like I did the valve adjustment on my Gixxer and like I've done little things before.
Okay.
I did buy a bore gauge on Amazon and then return it. So that's the way to do it, right?
Yeah.
Like it's stuff I'm never going to use again. So
I used to, when we used to do the International Motorcycle Show, I used to go to Costco and buy a TV to set on our table at the trade show. And then at the end of the weekend, I would take it back.
That's so smart, actually. Oh my gosh.
Well, so I could travel with it in a box.
Yeah.
That was all. It was all about the box.
That's super smart.
To haul it around, you know? Yeah. So, I mean, do you have like, what's the other, degree wheel to degree the cams?
Well, I was just going to do normal stuff. This is, I had to ask Fuzzy about that as well. I have a few more things.
You need like slotted cam sprockets so you could, you know, fuck with the timing.
If this lasts more than 4 days, it'll literally be a record for me. So I just need to build some stock.
You've only had an R6 engine last 4 days? 4 days.
4 days.
Wow, dude. You're hard on equipment. I don't know. That's the story I'm sticking to. Like, it sounds like you're hard on equipment.
But it's random shit. Well, like the fuel pump, I just bought the bike and I didn't think to like check the fuel pump. I don't know. That wasn't on my list of things at the time when you buy a new bike. Usually it's like, oh, oil, coolant. I didn't think to check the fuel pump.
Right.
And then like I had the wiring harness. Someone had tapped a power commander and all weird, the previous owner. And that's why the throttle stuck open electronically, because there was all this like damage by the wiring harness. Like it's not stuff I do. It's just weird, horrible.
I don't know, dude. Sounds like you're a magnet for R6 bike drama.
I know.
Jesus.
It's a great bike though. I don't like want to switch manufacturers.
I raced a bike that was like the subject of a divorce. Yeah. You know Chili at CTML, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is like, I don't know, it's like 10 years ago maybe when I got this bike, but Chili was going through some shit at home. And so he's like, hey man, can I store my bike at your house? I was like, sure. So he brings it by. I have it in my garage for 2 years. And at the time I was racing like these clapped out hunks of shit that Andy Palmer was building, like these SV650s and crap. When we started CVME, I was like between bikes at the time. So I asked him, I was like, hey dude, can I race this R6? He's like, yeah. He's like, just give me $4,000 for it. I was like, fuck, cool, done. And it was one of my old school bikes. So I knew the bike anyway. Right. Yeah. And, you know, I ended up racing the thing. And I remember the ex-wife calls me up and I could tell she was like recording on the other end. You know, it's been years now, so who the fuck cares? But You know, like I could tell she was recording on the other end, and she's like, "Where's the bike, Dustin?" I'm like, "What are you talking about? I have the title to the thing." Like, "Oh, you thought Chris had bought a bike? No, he paid to repair a bike." So that's the horseshit story that we told this bitch. And I said, perhaps that level of dishonesty is what led to your divorce in the first place.
Oh.
Yeah.
My first R6 was one I bought because the guy was he was in the middle of a divorce. He gave me his whole story. I'm like, all right, I'm just here to like give you cash.
Man, so funny. So funny. Yeah, there's a lot of weird shit in our sport, man. But hopefully, I mean, one person can only have so much bad luck before it turns around, right?
Yeah, I told myself that like 3 engines ago, though.
Oh, well, maybe this one's it, man. The one that you do is the one. And now what's going to happen is you build one and it's good. All your friends are going to be like, hey, can you build mine?
I don't know. I'm convinced if it works that it's just luck. Like, we'll see. I'm sure it's going to need a refresh soon. So maybe like that'll be my next. I'm okay with like fucking up my own stuff, but other people's, that's so scary.
Yeah, I hear that. But it's a good hobby too, right? I mean, it's like adult Legos, right?
I call it adult arts and crafts.
Okay. Okay.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's like the super advanced Lego set.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you follow the directions, you get the manual, right? Like it's, by the numbers, torque this, whatever. Newton meters. It's all about Newton meters, right? Or decinewton meters.
Dude, I think mine's set to foot pounds. Yeah, I'm a foot pound person.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Sorry.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, right, I say Newton meters all the time, and I measure my shit in Newton meters still because, I follow the Richard Says protocol.
I follow the service manual usually has foot pounds and then like Newton meters in parentheses. So I just read the like first one. That's where
there you go.
That and YouTube. I feel like people on YouTube.
Oh, you're a graduate of the YouTube mechanic school?
Yeah, that Partzilla video, he does the full R6 engine teardown and rebuild. That's just like what I've been following this whole time.
When you are you one of those people that like takes pictures of everything while it's coming apart so you remember how it goes back together?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. So and I have no short-term memory, so it's like
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe
try that, Justin.
That's why I'm not doing that. I'm not building stuff. Like I built I built my bike with Richard. We put the cams in. I'm standing across from Richard and watching him and watching his facial expressions while I was doing stuff and listening to him shit talk me the whole time. It was an experience that I will never forget. But I'm not that guy. I'm not ever going to be that guy ever. I'd rather just pay them to do it and just pick it up when it's done.
Well, that's not an option for some of us,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's expensive too. It hurts, but it doesn't hurt as bad as me potentially ruining something because I'm a fucking idiot. Like
that's true.
It's like there's a meme that's got Bobby Hill up there and he's pointing at the chalkboard and it's like, oh, the pros and cons of why whether or not I should build my engine. And it's like, oh, it's cheaper, this and that. And the cons are, I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, right. So yeah.
That's why there are service manuals and that's why YouTube exists.
Yeah, but still, yeah. Not doing that. Well, you know what? I wish you the best of luck. When's your next race?
I'm probably taking a break for the season. I don't know. I have
taking a break for the rest of the season.
Yeah, definitely.
The rest of the winter season.
Yeah.
Because CVMA has that weird. They're the only club that does it, but it's like September to April.
Yeah.
So they race in the wintertime. So they're racing in December and January when nobody else is racing anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to take the rest of this, what is it, 4 more rounds to go or something?
Yeah, and then we'll see. We have to see if this R6 works, and I just dug way too deep into the credit card for this. I think it's another reason a lot of people stop racing, you know. I want to
Yeah.
take a minute and pay that down. It's like I can't emotionally handle putting money on a credit card to go like cuz my race experience has kind of sucked. Most of my race weekends end in mechanicals or crashes, and I want to be at a point where I have the money to go spend, and if that happens, I'm not going to like drive into head-on traffic on the way home or something, you know?
Okay.
I'll be in the right like spot financially.
Yeah, like I'm kind of in the like I've been racing for like 25 years, right? So like I'm kind of in the I'm going to race whenever the fuck I feel like it mode.
Yeah.
And so it's, you know, last weekend was one of those moments, and then who knows, it could be
So
2,
crazy
3,
to
4,
see
5
out
months.
there.
What?
It was so crazy to see you out there. I'm glad you came out.
Yeah, it was fun. You know, Cowboy Cowboy kind of been scumbagging me to come out for a while. Like he came out to a track day and was like, "Hey, how long am I going to hang on to this number before you come out?" I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, am I even allowed there?" So, you know, I found out that Dave Waugh was the manager out there, and that dude used to sponsor me like 20 years ago. Like I've been friend. That guy was my neighbor. Like our houses, our garages opened up across each other in an alley.
That's so
And that's how I met Dave Waugh. Like he was the manager of this bike dealership, and he actually sponsored myself and Jacob West like 20 years ago. So I had many, many good chats with him last weekend, and you know, he knows what's up. He knows the wrongs that were done in my general direction. So, you know, history is what it is, and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, but who knows? Maybe we'll come back to Chuckwalla at some point. I'm open to it, because my beef was never with the facility. It was with management.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem to be there anymore. So I'm kind of stoked on that.
Yeah, I've heard, and I know things have changed since you.
Dude,
Yeah.
like, I mean, since I was there, they've repaved the place twice. You know, there's a classroom. The palm trees look big.
Well, and I saw you posted about the RV spots, and I remember before, like that wasn't all pavement and like pre-garages and all that stuff.
Yeah, but do you remember Doo-Doo Mountain?
Yes.
You do?
Remember, that might not be the same, but there was a 2-wheel track day where they locked the bathrooms, so everyone was like just
no.
Is that not that?
No. Okay, so if you're approaching the time-and scoring building from the little vendor row island thing, you know, straight from the classroom, if you look to the right where the dirt and then the fence is, in that dirt used to be a porta trailer thing. It was like one of those, it's supposed to be really nice. And it had like a water tank on the back side of it that I'm just going to not name names because fuck that. But like management, I'll just say management, chose not to service the thing throughout the weekend. So it would get started on Thursday. By Friday, it was already full, but that didn't stop people from using it. So the mountain would happen, and there you go.
So
and, you know, imagine being on pre-grid right there, and you could smell it.
Ick. You could smell at the 2-wheel day, like in the whole pit, it just smelled like shit. Because the something happened with the water, so their solution was to lock the bathrooms. And then say for the PA, hey, if you have like a trailer, let people use it. And everyone with the trailer was like, no, I'm not going to let random people take shit in my trailer.
Right.
It smelled so bad.
Wow, that's rough.
Shit.
Yeah, they you know, when they opened the bathrooms, they were running the power off of like a diesel generator. Generator would run out of gas in the middle of the night. So
it's cool to see the changes, like the Podium Club is now, right? And knowing where it I'm excited to see it grow, like that kind of stuff.
What do you think of before we wrap this thing? What do you think of this like new pavement apocalypse thing that we're happening right now? Like we have Podium Club, brand new track that's like epic, right? And then, you know, we have Sonoma is being repaved right now, I guess. The first layer of asphalt is laid down on track 2 at Buttonwillow. I mean, it's like, dude, we're in this like new golden era, maybe, of all this new pavement everywhere. Like, what do you think of that?
I think the tire vendors, it's a conspiracy to get us to buy more tires.
Well, considering that I'm a tire vendor now.
No, I don't know. It's exciting. I think it has a lot to do with, like I mentioned, the like sport growing and just having a lot more people out there and stuff, more demand, and
Yeah.
I'm liking the safety aspect of it for sure.
Right. I mean, to me, it seems like a potential sign of growth too, because all these racetracks, they're wanting to build the second track thing. They're like, because they know they can't grow, there's only so many days they can rent in the year at the one track. So, if they can rent 2 days, 2 tracks in the same day, growth can happen. But I don't know, like, it seems it's good for us, right? As riders.
I think it's good.
Yeah. So when's the next time you're going to ride then?
I've just been doing like the Apex days. Like I was just control riding, helping out,
Okay.
And probably SoCal stuff. I don't know. I'm really trying to save my money right now. But like since I work tech, I just sell my race credit. So I actually do make money when I go there instead of like volunteer just for track time,
Right. Okay. Well, cool. Well, you know what, Rainey? It's been fun. Good chat. I think we should wrap this thing. Yeah. Do you got any sponsors you want to thank or anything?
Oh my gosh. Dunlop has helped me out a lot. What was that face? You just made a face. Thanks, Dunlop.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, look, anything that helps the wheels turn, right? What else you got?
Well, I mean, definitely both Bryce and Fuzzy, just kind of dealing with my shit, and then a Fresh Face Aesthetic, they sponsored me last season. And they were great with helping out. I'm sorry, I couldn't give you guys a better.
A Fresh Face Aesthetically?
Yeah, it's like a spa. They do like Botox and like facial stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's me, Quincy, and Dennis. They just like sponsor us as a team or whatever.
Okay.
So it was an exciting opportunity that I didn't really get to capitalize on. Like I just felt bad the whole time, So I appreciate all those people kind of just dealing with my shit.
You don't want to thank Bengford for putting up with your shit too, or no?
Yes, I mean I have to put up with his shit. So
well, like that's probably true. Like I think he's getting the better end of the deal, right?
I think we both lost.
You both lost?
Yep.
Jeez. All right, Rainey. Well, you know what? I hope to see you at the track again. I don't know when I'm going to go race again because I don't even care anymore. Like, honestly, I'm like a cyclist now. So for the most part, but, maybe I'll see you out there,
Yeah.
Cool.
See you soon.
All right, then. See ya.